that we might not even see Caitlin back on the court this season, and that might actually be the best thing. Caitlin should be out for the rest of the season. Maybe this season is just done for her. Maybe it doesn't make sense.
Injury report that Caitlin Clark is a game time decision. I think they did that for ticket sales. I think they knew that we all was going to pick up on that and pretty much say, well, you know what? There's a chance Caitlin Clark could be coming back for this game, maybe even that game.
Caitlin Clark just shook the entire basketball world with a shocking announcement about possibly leaving the Indiana Fever. What's happening behind the scenes is bigger than anyone expected. From the mystery surrounding her injury to the massive impact on her future, this twist has the WNBA in full panic mode, and the truth coming out now will leave fans speechless.
About the Caitlin Clark injury. Let's listen to her, bro.
Caitlin starting full court running last week. Has she been able to do anything extra since then or return to practice at all?
No return to practice. She's been able to get a little bit more in her full court running, with her all of her body weight. It's really building up from doing minimal to then building some endurance to do longer periods of time. She's been able to do a little bit more on the court in terms of how she moved.
Caitlin Clark.
So there is really no timetable as to when Caitlin Clark could return. Y'all got me? There is no set time as when CC could possibly be coming back. And as of right now, the Indiana Fever is looking real spooky because they're not keeping it at 100.
But hold on, don't rush to any conclusions yet. What's really unfolding goes way deeper than anyone expected. The truth behind this twist isn't the polished version the WNBA is feeding fans. This is the unfiltered reality. The side of the story they never wanted you to hear.
It's looking like you don't care for Caitlin Clark. We know clear as day that Stephanie White has been looking in certain areas not to be feeling the Caitlin Clark effect. I don't know, but this stuff is definitely looking concerning because
Caitlin Clark, the brightest star of the Indiana Fever, has been stuck on the sidelines since July 17th with a devastating injury. And instead of clarity, the WNBA has turned it into a circus of confusion. First, they brushed it off as day-to-day, like it was nothing serious, but then came the shocking twist: suddenly she's ruled out indefinitely, leaving fans furious and desperate for answers.
Specifically, the reporting around Caitlin Clark's injury, because I feel like it is getting stranger by the day. It has been a month now that Caitlin has.
But the drama didn't end there. Instead of giving fans real answers, the WNBA started toying with emotions. Suddenly, Caitlin Clark was listed as a game-time decision against Dallas. How does that make sense for someone who hasn't practiced in weeks? This isn't just about an injury update anymore. This is about business, ticket sales, and control. And here's the shocking part. They've pulled this stunt before. Fans have been misled in the past. And what's coming next is even more disturbing.
Yesterday, she was listed as a game time decision for today's game against the Dallas Wings. And then after practice yesterday, Coach Stephanie White basically came out and said, no, Caitlin Clark hasn't even been practicing. So they changed it from a game time decision to her being out.
Now let's break down that so-called game time decision. The reality, Caitlin Clark hasn't stepped into a single full practice since her injury weeks ago. Yet somehow, she keeps showing up on the injury report like she might suddenly play. It feels less like transparency and more like a calculated move, almost as if the league is betting fans won't notice the truth hiding in plain sight.
At the Indiana Fever's schedule right now, they only have 12 games left, and there is exactly 4 weeks left in the regular season.
And here's the part that should have every fan furious. This isn't some one-time mistake. It's a pattern. Just look back to mid-season when Caitlin Clark rushed back from a quad injury after only one full-speed practice. One practice, and what happened next? She got hurt all over again. How can anyone look at this and not question the way things are being handled?
Just can't wait until CC is back. She's the most dynamic, electric player in the WNBA. Great job, Lexi. And then Scott Agnes replied, and he said, have patience, at least several more weeks.
Then came the nightmare clash against Phoenix, a night the Indiana Fever will never forget. Within a single game, disaster struck twice. Backup point guard Sydney Coulson went down early with a torn ACL, and by the fourth quarter, Ari McDonald was out with a broken foot. 2 season-ending injuries in one night. For fans, it wasn't just a game, it was like watching a train wreck unfold in real time.
Contenders at this point, I'm just not so sure. Do you risk another injury that can again compound and turn into something else down the line? Now, one other
At this point, calling the Fever contenders feels uncertain. Do you really risk piling on more injuries that could snowball into something worse down the line? And here's the thing, Sydney Coulson wasn't just another role player. She was a steady leader on the court, a reliable presence in the toughest moments. But now she's out for the season, possibly for good. And Ari McDonald, just when she was breaking through, proving she could be the spark the Fever desperately needed, she goes down to absolutely brutal.
A star player like that, we will never know all the information, nor should we know all the information, and that's actually good for Caitlin. It protects her for when she does come back on the court. She can't be targeted. Teams can't use a certain injury or ailment against her if people don't really know what is going on. But
with a star player like Caitlin Clark, the full truth about her condition will probably never be revealed, and honestly, that might be a good thing. Keeping the details under wraps actually protects her. When she returns, rival teams can't target a weakness or exploit an old injury if no one really knows what she's battling. But here's the problem. This secrecy also raises bigger questions the league doesn't want fans asking.
Thrown back into any mix if she doesn't have significant practices under her belt before she goes into game speed. You can try to simulate game speed as much as you want in practice.
But here's the real kicker. The timing couldn't have been worse. The trade deadline had passed just 4 days earlier. 4 days. By the time Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald went down, the Fever were completely trapped. No trades, no reinforcements, no lifeline to save their season. It's almost unbelievable, 2 major losses, and the window to fix it had already slammed shut.
Colson sustained an anterior cruciate ligament ACL tear. Sydney then to her ACL in her left knee during the first quarter of the game.
It began in the first quarter.
That kind of timing would make anyone scratch their head. If the Fever had even a small window to trade for someone who could replace what Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald brought to the court, it's gone. Instead, they're staring at a bare roster with no real answers. And now, with their depth thinner than ever, the dream of making the playoffs is slipping further and further away, looking less like a goal and more like a fantasy.
I think you're wrong. Again, you think it'll be a couple more weeks before CC returns to practice. Please stop always saying negative and depressing hit about Caitlin Clark. She has been running full court consistently as reported for over a week. She may be, Scotty Boy is right, and it's still going to be a couple weeks. You should want to be encouraging to the fans.